Let's talk about the fear of quitting smoking. It's um, it's amazing how many people are putting off stopping smoking, how many smokers are stuck, frightened about quitting smoking. All right. And there are a number of reasons for this. And if you understand that that's fundamentally what's holding the problem in place, if you understand that that is fundamentally the reason why they're struggling, why you're struggling to quit smoking, then it's going to be an awful lot easier for you to quit smoking. Okay? Because it's all this energy of fear that is holding the problem in place. It's the fuel that's exacerbating any expectation of cravings, any worry about how you're going to get on with your life, how you're going to be able to change. And so we're going to make sure that you understand that so you can change now. The thing is, there's a lot of good news about this because you can quit smoking much, much more easily than you might think. All right. As long as you get this one thing handled, as long as you can transform your expectation that it's going to be very, very difficult, or it's going to be hard, or that there's going to be cravings. The other side of it is that one of the expectations you've got to transform is around fear, because a lot of people expect that it's going to be hard, that there's going to be a lot of pain, that it's not just that there's going to be pain, but how are you going to just get through life? What are you going to do if you get bored? What do you do with your time? What do you do with your hands? What do you do if you want to reflect on life or think about something? This is what we've got to get handled so you can become a non-smoker. Now, once you realize that there are these kind of primary reasons that people smoke, all right, there are primary reasons why people are smokers that are holding them back from quitting the habit. And it's this kind of overall fear that, and that's the word that a lot of smokers use, the fear of, how are they going to be at ease in social situations? How are you going to enjoy a meal? How are you going to celebrate having finished a particular piece of work during the day? How do you relax? What do you do with your hands? How do you manage these moments throughout the day? And we're talking here about both the internal feelings and triggers that you've got and then things on the outside. And if fear is holding you back, then that's the thing that's got to be addressed to quit smoking. So how do you address this kind of overall sense of fear of quitting smoking? And this is really vital to understand because there can be a lot of different elements to this. You can have the fear that you might fail. You have the fear that you're not strong enough. You also have the fear of how on earth am I going to get through things day to day? And it's a perfectly valid conscious concern and reason to have, but it's built upon and predicated upon a conscious understanding that it's hard to stop smoking, that it's going to be difficult, that you have to consciously know and have lots of strategies in place to be able to handle things, and you don't, because once the inner cravings and inner feelings are dealt with, the triggers inside you that have been causing you to smoke, once they're done, you're essentially free, and you free up a huge amount of creative energy as a non-smoker. You see, non-smokers don't think about smoking, they just get on with their life. I know it sounds too easy to be true, and I can say that to you honestly as somebody who for many years growing up, smoked between 20 and 40 a day. In fact, I even smoked 60 a day when I was a young man in my 20s, very, very consistently for well over a decade. And having made that change, it's really funny because I don't consider myself an ex-smoker. I don't even consider myself a non-smoker, actually. It's just something I don't even think about, all right? I have a fulfilling life with things that I do that I look forward to and enjoy, and that's simply not part of it. I don't worry about it, I don't get cravings, I don't think about it. It's just part and parcel of life to enjoy it. And that's something that you can enjoy too. So I understand that it can be any time you're stuck in an addiction or you feel like you're between a rock and a hard place, it can be tough. A lot of feelings come up, okay? We can call that fear, and it may be anxiety about how you're going to manage things. It may be lots of different types of sort of stuff, but fundamentally there'll be some feelings, usually inside your tummy, usually inside your head, maybe in your throat, in other parts of your body. And you have paired together this idea of smoking, this behavior of smoking, as your way to manage that. It's not the only way to manage it. There are, of course, other ways that you can do that. And those feelings can either pass very quickly or don't even need to be there in many, many cases. All right. And uh, once you understand that, once you know that, well, it's going to be a lot easier to transform, to become a non-smoker. You see, what the research is showing is that there's a large amount of the anxiety people feel. It's simply about their body being conditioned for the perceived dopamine hit of the cigarette. So now they're feeling anxious in anticipation of when they're going to have that. It's just become sort of Pavlovian conditioning. They've become got this expectation of when they're going to have the cigarette. They feel this anticipation and worry and fear of missing out. This anxiety starts to build up in them, and then they have the cigarette, and that appears to temporarily relieve it, but all it's doing is it's just starting the cycle again. Look, can people struggle with boredom? Sure. But here's the thing. There are ways that you can relieve big boredom. There are ways that you can find in your life to be able to do stuff that aren't being addicted. So fear is an absolutely crucial element that you've got to overcome. Okay, and that's why, by the way, a lot of people go and seek somebody who can help them quit in one session, so you can become a non-smoker. It's why smokers make a decision: I'm going to get help. I'm going to do something different, because it can be frightening to do stuff by yourself. Look, I have a friend and she did a marathon by herself. She didn't even know at the time that there was a running club, and she went out to the hills and she just ran by herself. She used to go running for 22 miles, and she said, there's no way I would do that now. She said, it's so much easier having help and having support. I didn't even know that that was there at a time. And so, I struggled on and I did it. And I think a lot of smokers do that, and some will succeed. A very small number, about 3 to 6% long term, is what the studies show if you don't get help. And so when I ask people, I say, well, why did you come on a consultation today? Why did you book a strategy call? What is it that I can help you with? A lot of the time they'll say to me, it's overcoming the fear of quitting smoking, of just, I don't know that I'm strong enough to be able to do this, to be able to handle all these situations. And I want somebody who believes in me, who can help me and say, yes, you can do it. And that's the role I play, all right? You are strong enough and you can do it. But having somebody there who can help you tap into that belief and overcome and let go of any of the fears of failure and any anxiety around cravings and how hard it's going to be in your life, that's really where the help comes in. Okay, because once you've got a motivation to change and you have somebody who can help you with that, you can become a non-smoker easily. You won't become a non-smoker unless you're able to address that fear head on. Okay, you need to look at it. You need to realize that the feelings and expectations and thoughts that come up in you as you think about quitting smoking, the things that come up automatically inside you will give you a very big clue as to the big blocks that you're facing. All right. If you don't face those blocks, if you don't have a strategy and a plan in place to deal with them quickly and efficiently, that's where people oscillate for years, even their whole lifetime, between being a smoker and a non-smoker. You don't want to do that. You want to do something different. You can do it. You can be a non-smoker. Make that decision. Get a plan in place. Go and speak to someone. Get some help if you need it. Make it quick. Make it efficient, because you can be a non-smoker.